Opinions and stories around the game we love, told by your favorite storytellers. Stay up to date with all things cricket. Subscribe to Cricbuzz's YouTube channel and press that bell icon now.
Let's start by talking about Bangladesh. Harsha, everyone remembers the Bangladesh versus Australia series. Australia may have talked about the pitch, but from Bangladesh's perspective, they've done well at home. They need to tick a few boxes overseas.
It's a peculiar game, isn't it? I don't know any other game that is quite the same relationship between teams as cricket does. Australia play Bangladesh in Bangladesh on a certain kind of surface and virtually don't compete. Australia come play against Bangladesh on a different surface, same laws, same games, virtually the same players, and there's no relation to what went before. And I remember saying, and I got a lot of flack from people in Bangladesh for that, saying these pitches are not going to help you. These pitches are a smoke screen. If you want to play 120 games all your life, then you will be very good at home, and the fact of becoming good at home will make you vulnerable overseas. And to my mind, they've been the biggest disappointment of this particular T20 World Cup. Away 6-15, I'd like to see where the 6 came from as well, because I think Bangladesh need a lot more self-belief, a little more awareness that they're actually a good side. There's actually a lot of talent in there. I think Shoma Sharkar hasn't become the player that he could become. Liton Das is not becoming the player that he can become. Mahmudullah did not become the player that he can become. He was a fantastic player, Mahmudullah. I think only Mushfiqur Rahim has become the player that he could not have become. No Shakib. Where's all the others coming through? And I think if Bangladesh just give themselves belief, it's pretty much this side that beat England so handsomely and playing a very contemporary form of cricket. But that was 6 years ago at the World Cup, 50-over World Cup of 2015. They had a good, decent 50-over World Cup in 2019 as well. But here they seem obsessed with playing with 16 overs of spin. So I hope they do better. I hope they do better, because this Australian side is not the Australian side of the past. So the T20 World Cup record is something that they want to wake up and pretend is not true.
Yeah, Joy, I mean, ignore some of the other tournaments where they've got a couple of wins thrown in here. Let's stick to the tournament and the format we're talking about here. It was a perfect start for them. They beat the West Indies way back in 2007. And since then, it's been a complete drought.
Yeah, they haven't competed at all. And, I just want to add to Harsha's point. And one of the reasons that these things happen is because you have a board who wants immediate results. So you have an administration who wants immediate results. So their worry is that suppose we set pitches that are fair, that allow our fast bowlers to develop, that allow international other teams coming here to have a chance and not just 16 overs of spin, then what happens is you're not going to get so many wins at home. You're going to go through a period of pain while your team adjusts to these new pitches. And what will happen at that point in time? If you're in a situation at that point in time, people will say, oh, Bangladesh is losing at home, let's change the management. So no management seems to want to take the risk and bite the bullet, saying, because if you bite the bullet now, you'll get results only 3 years later. And it's exactly, I find it very analogous to, companies who deal quarter by quarter, saying, my shareholders are not going to be happy with this next quarter. So I don't care. I don't want to take the pain now. It's not solving anything long term, but I need the result now, because who knows, if I'm not going to be there next quarter, how does it matter if it's going to be or not? So all policies like this are inherently short term. I mean, I remember somebody talking about this, and Japan had a World Cup, when they started playing football properly, they had a World Cup plan. Their World Cup plan in the 80s was 100 years. That in within 2082 we'll win a World Cup. And, other countries can't hope for that kind of a vision, but at least they can be a bit more long-term than this.
Yeah, the only thing I will say before we go to the toss and all is, I can understand why Bangladesh are doing that. India did that. Lost a test against England, the first test in Chennai. See what happened for the next 3 test matches. When you didn't have to prepare those wickets, but you would still have won. So I can understand why they're doing what they're doing.